Hello, everyone. I'm gonna kind of stall for us while we have people hopping in, connecting to audio. We've got a pretty big crowd with us this evening. So while you are all getting set up, I would like to announce that we are recording this meeting. So this webinar will be recorded for everybody. And because of that, if you'd like to have your camera off, you are more than welcome to do so, and just keep yourself back in the background. I will ask that all of you remain with your mics muted for the remainder of this webinar. All of your questions are going to be able to go into our chat feature. That way we don't have any crossover and everybody can hear everything that's going on. I believe we have closed captioning enabled as well. So if you are somebody who needs that, I believe you can adjust that in your settings. But I think that we should be good to go. So stall for a couple more seconds. I will repeat once again, we are recording this meeting, so it will be able to be put on our website. If you forget to ask a question or you hear somebody ask a question and you forget to write down the response to it, you are always more than welcome to come back and watch it once we get that posted. It will take us a bit of time so we can get the closed captioning available on the video as well. But you can always come back to that. You can recommend it to a friend, all of that good stuff, if you miss anything that's going on. So again, if you want to have your cameras off, you're more than welcome to, and I do ask you to keep your mics off for the remainder of this time. We're going to be here until 6, so hopefully we can answer as many of your questions as possible. So once again, I'd just like to welcome everybody to our housing and dining webinar this summer. We are excited to hear from you and hope to answer as many of your questions as possible for our hour this evening. Thank you for joining us, and again, we are recording this so this information can be presented to those who couldn't attend or if you missed any information. Before we begin, we know that many students are looking for on-campus employment opportunities, so we'd like to share some of our student jobs that are open right now in housing. We should be having a link being dropped into our chat with more information on how to apply to these, but we currently have positions for inclusion assistant, desk attendant, residential office assistant, COVID support assistant, or a residential conduct assistant. So all of those jobs and more can be found on our website, and that link should be dropping for us pretty soon. Most of these positions are open to new students and don't require you to have already lived on campus before, and some of these positions do offer free on-campus housing. So we'll put that link in. It looks like it just got put into our chat. Make sure to check it out. And really quickly, we're going to start by introducing our panelists. But again, we are here to answer all of your questions. So go ahead and start putting those questions into our chat, and we'll make sure to send those questions to our panelists to ask live. I'm going to introduce myself really quickly because I forgot to do that. My name is Mackenzie. I am a student here. I am the student lead for our info desk. So if you ever call or send an email to our housing office, there's a good chance that you might be talking to me or one of my coworkers to help you out with your question. I use she, her pronouns. And to answer the question that I'm going to be asking everybody else this evening, to pass my time outside of work, and right now I am also taking a couple of summer classes, I tend to have some sort of podcast on in the background. I tend to paint and draw, reading when I have the energy to after reading my texts for classes. So that's pretty common. You'll tend to find me indoors, especially with some of our hotter days that are out here. But it's really, really beautiful where we're at right now. So I hope that if you are here or around here, you can get out and enjoy it. For our panelists for the fall 2021 quarter, again, I'm going to ask you all to give your name, your pronouns, and then tell us a little bit about what you do here and a little bit about what you do when you're not working. We're going to go ahead and start with Anya in business operations. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Mackenzie. My name is Anya Engeldow. I am the Assistant Director for Business Services here in University Residence. Let's see, things I like to do. Well, since COVID, I've started playing golf. I'm terrible at it, but it's a lot of fun to just go out there and try to hit the ball and get fresh air and be outside. And it's something new for me, so it's kind of become a fun way to pass the time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We are now going to shift over to our dining, and we're going to hear from Jeremy. Jeremy, can you tell us about yourself?
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm the Viking Commons Director, I also run our catering operations. Spare time right now, I've been kayaking, reading, and gardening. I'm a little frustrated because I have an unknown pest in the garden that ate all my broccoli, which was ready to pick, but you know, it happens. So excited to see everybody tonight.
Wonderful. Next on our list is Leonard Jones. I don't know if I see Leonard in our list, so I'll give a couple seconds just in case he is here and wants to introduce himself, but otherwise, okay. I'm going to go ahead and shift. We'll come back in case that is a possibility. We're going to shift over to Terrence. Terrence Simons is our Associate Director in Facilities. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, it's Terrence Simons. I'm the Associate Director for University Residence Facilities. And I'm a big time, I like doing relays and runs and triathlons. So I've been doing a lot of distance running and distance biking and stuff like that. So I like the competitiveness of that kind of stuff. But that's it.
Thank you so much. We're gonna now shift over to Res Life. Dong is Supervising Resident Director on Res Life. Can you tell us about yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Dong. As mentioned, I'm the Supervising Resident Director. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm also a Western graduate in 2010. And in my spare time, recently I have been playing board games at a park, lots of local parks. So invite friends to sit outside and play board games.
That sounds wonderful. Awesome. And last, but definitely not least, we have Karen, Associate Director for Occupancy Management, Communications, and Administrative Services. Can you tell us about yourself?
Thanks, Mackenzie. I use she, her pronouns, and I have been passing my time teaching my grandchildren to swim this summer. So that's been a lot of fun. And I also golf. And although I've been golfing many, many years, longer than Anya, I'm at about the same place she's at with golf. So trying to get outside as much as I can.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. So again, thank you to all of our panelists who are here with us, and thank you to all of the guests that we have. Again, continue to drop your questions in the chat. I see some incredible ones already and hope to answer as many as possible. So to get us started pretty quickly, we're going to hang out with Karen for just a second. What will housing look like in the fall? Will housing be filled, half, or full capacity?
Great question. So this last year, we really had about a quarter of our beds usable. So it was an interesting year for us. And this year, we're going to be more about 85% full with a few beds offline for emergency use for COVID or ISO and that kind of thing. But mostly, we're going to be full. So we're really excited. We have a big group of folks coming in. And every bed that we have available to use is going to have a head in it. So it's going to be a really fun fall for us and for all the students.
Very exciting. Thank you very much. Terrence, this next question is for you. Does housing provide loft beds or bunk beds for the residence halls? If not, are we able to bring our own?
In answer to that question, if you're in a design triple, then lofting and bunking is available. Otherwise, it's a low captain's configuration bed in most rooms, and we don't allow non-Western bed furniture being in the rooms.
Thank you so much. Dong, this next question is for you. What will the selection process look like for students in designated communities like Pride Housing or Black Affinity Housing?
Yes, very good question. I do highly recommend people go on our housing website. Some of the processes look a little different depending on the type of program. So Black Affinity Housing or Pride Housing, that process might look a little bit different. But if you go on the main housing website and there's a button for apply now, and then there's a button that says get started. If you go under get started, there's like housing types, living learning communities, which is what you would want to pay attention to if you're looking at Pride Housing or Black Affinity Housing or honors. it's broken down and you want to review what that process looks like and then go through the application process, which will include that as well. But sometimes it might ask for an extra form of interest or some extra questions along the side. But the best thing to do is really go to the website and email housing@wwu.edu if you do have any questions.
Wonderful. We'll be back to you pretty shortly, but first we're going to shift back to Karen. How does room selection work?
Wonderful question. So room selection has now got a tutorial that we've just posted on our website. And I think that the chat will have the link, or certainly the website will have the link, but you can go to our homepage. And then we have on the main page, we have the 3 white buttons that have the things that are happening right now that people might care about. And one of those is now room selection tutorial. So it's a series of screenshots with just some text that helps you know what each page is for and a general kind of view of it and what to do next and what to click so you don't get lost while you're in there. And we had a lot of requests for that, so we're excited to get that up. But I can say that it is fairly you can get in and kind of figure it out for yourself. But generally what it is you log in, you have a search tool that lets you say, oh, I only want doubles on the ridge, or I'm looking for something on the south end, and it'll sort for you. So you're only seeing what you want. It will also already know what your housing declared gender is. So for me, with she, her, it would only show me rooms that females can be in, and those would be either rooms in a hallway that are for women already, or in a suite building, an empty room that no one is in yet that can become a female suite, or a suite room that already has a female in it. So it kind of knows a lot about what to give you once you're in there, and it's really a lot of fun, and we'd love feedback. So don't forget to let us know if there's anything we can change or add.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This next question is for Jeremy. How many meals can we get, and what are the size of our meal plans?
Great. You can kind of choose how many meals you want to get. Meal plans range from unlimited, 125, 100, and 80 block plans. The unlimited obviously gets you as many meals as you want per meal period, and the block plans are that amount of meals throughout the quarter. So it depends on how much you eat. It's going to be how much you want to go for. I would recommend going for a higher meal plan to start with, kind of feel out what you like, and then adjust from there. You can always go up throughout the quarter. You can't go down. It's good to think that dining is not the thing you want to worry about. So pick a meal plan that's going to be in a comfortable range for you. That's the last thing you want to worry about right now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. This next question, Dong, what are we allowed to bring or not allowed to bring? Is there a suggested packing list?
I believe the housing guide, you can look through the housing guide, which also has a great list of things we'd recommend. We generally tell people that, look at everything you want to bring, and then you probably don't need all of those things. Or if you're if your home is close to campus too, that you don't necessarily need to bring your snowboard or anything, especially if you're going to go home at some point during the quarter as well. But you can find some recommended items online and things that you'd want to talk to with your roommate. Like you should coordinate and make sure you're not bringing 2 fridges or 2 microwaves, or do you need a fridge or a microwave? But certainly the general basics like bed sheets and things like that, emergency kits, things like that are very, very helpful. But there is a list on our website. And then also, but if you want some more specific recommendations, again, it kind of depends on person to person, but we do also have a lot of shopping resources, malls, things like that are in the area as well, should you forget something like a toothbrush.
Yeah, absolutely. It is our moving in housing website actually has a suggested essentials and prohibited items, which is something that can be really, really helpful if you just need to really quickly look at what's available and what you can't have on campus. Highly recommend looking at that. This next question is for Karen. Are we able to specify that we specifically want suite style, or is it first come, first serve?
Another opportunity for me to talk about our room selection tutorial tool. It has the ability to totally just sort by suite style if that's what you want. And I do recommend that you go to our Explore the Buildings tab, which is also on that front page of our website. And you can go and look at each building and get like a brief tour from one of our students who helped us do those, Sabrina. And you get a look inside, you get a look at a room, and you can kind of see the geographic area that it's in, and also see if it's hallway or suite or what kind of suites they are, because each suite is a little different. So it's really good to sort of go in and explore those buildings. So you kind of have a sense of which, if you're looking for a suite, which suite you want. And you can even do things like, oh, I might try and plan for a room that's on the dark side, so I don't have the sun shining in on me when I'm sleeping in. So you can kind of navigate and be ready to pick by doing your homework ahead of time.
Wonderful. This next question is for Terrence. The wording of the question is, how do we return the mattress when we bring our own mattress? And I think a follow-up question from me is, are we allowed to bring our own mattresses?
You're not allowed to bring your own mattresses. If there's a specific reason where you need to have some sort of accommodation, then you would have to reach out with the Disability Access Center to explore those options. But we don't allow non-Western mattresses to be on the bed.
Thank you so much, Terrence. It looks like we're going back to Dong for this next question. Are COVID restrictions for fully vaccinated people being enforced?
That's a very good question. I want to be clear that like things may change between now and the fall, and they might change during the academic year as well. And we'll do our best to communicate everything to everybody. But a good thing is definitely to check the Western Health Center webpage, as well as our housing webpage, which has something called community standards. That has every single policy that all students need to abide by. And I just looked at the COVID policy, which was just updated in March, and that's likely going to change. But I do know that we are discussing what policies to update and what the fall looks like. So I don't want to give you the wrong answer other than to pay attention to that, but don't stress about memorizing all the policies, as we do have resources and RAs that will reach out to you and kind of go over all of the expectations of living a part of this community. But there might be some nuances. For example, like the duration in which you might need to quarantine if you've been around somebody who's tested positive. Your vaccination may influence that, and we consult the health center and other professionals on those policies. So just stay tuned, but don't overthink it or panic. But if you are looking for the most up-to-date information or the current information, it is something. It is on our website called under community standards.
Thanks so much. Karen, this next question is for you. It's kind of a conglomeration of a lot of similar questions. Can we have small pets? If so, what kind? And are there specific residence halls for emotional support animals?
Sure. There is one small pet you may bring. You can bring fish in a small 10-gallon tank. If you want another kind of animal with you, we have an emotional support animal policy and partner on campus, and that is the Disability Access Center. And they have a wonderful intake form on their website that you can complete and work with them. And if you need to bring an animal with you, you may. And there's not a lot of restriction on animals, but as they get larger, there can be, or if they're really heavy. So, we might not be able to take like an elephant, but we have a variety of animals. It's amazing, the ESAs we have on campus, and as long as students are following the rules to have them with us, it's really a nice option for some students. So we're happy to have them.
Thank you so much. Dom, we're going to hop back to you for this next question. Can I select my move-in date? When is the first day to move in?
Yes. So in general, move-in will start on September 16th, and you can sign up for your own time between the 16th and the 19th, and the Move-In app opens on August 16th. So do continue to check your Western email or your contacts to just note that timeline. And it's really good to just make sure you set that periodically check for updates. Depending on if you are in a specific program, so there was some mention of Viking Launch, for example, I saw in the chat, you do want to pay attention to what the program specific move-in dates are, because those may differ. But for the general population, move-in starts on September 16th. And so watch out for that so that you can sign up for a move-in time.
Thank you so much. Terrence, this next question is for you. Are we allowed to bring mattress covers and memory foam toppers?
Definitely, mattress covers and the full tops, you can bring that, and you would just need to size your sheets accordingly.
Wonderful, thank you. And those are, I believe, twin extra large is what that is. It's also available on our website if you want to double check that. Dong, what is Viking Launch?
Yeah, Viking Launch is one of our older programs where a group of students can sign up for the program. It's really designed for incoming freshmen to really start and transition their college life. So they might participate with faculty on other programs and some classes. They really arrive early and they have scheduled activities and programs really to get adjusted to the campus community, Bellingham, and they take a few courses here and there. And you start early, you get to move in early, you get to meet a group of people that are going through the same experience as you. Easy enough to learn about the program. You can just Google Viking Launch WWU, but they do arrive about a week and a half to 2 weeks early and move in and then work with faculty and go through some courses and programs.
Thank you so much. Terrence, this next question is for you. Is a high single enough to fit a piano or keyboard under? The student in question was counting on lofting.
That's all based upon the size, the height of the piano. I'm gonna say just gut feel, probably not. But you would have to do research on whatever room you're going to be in and see if the accommodations, the space available in that room is going to support a piano that's standalone. But that's specific to the room. So it's if there's any more questions, then you could email housing and that'll come my way, and I can do some measurements.
Thank you so much. Karen, this next question is back to you. When are roommate selections and roommate groups due? How do we notify you who we are rooming with?
Yeah, roommate selection is starting tomorrow. So, room selection is starting tomorrow. So roommate groups were due June 15th. We had it open from February 1st to June 15th to pair up, and so got about 45% of our students are in a roommate group, maybe 50%. And so the other thing you can do, though, if you don't have a roommate selected, is you can select when you're picking a room. If somebody's already in a room and you put yourself in that room, you can see their roommate questionnaire answers. And then on your dashboard, there's a way for you to contact them. And so you can get to know your roommate ahead of time. If you know someone and you didn't get your pair made in time, what you can do is just work together in your room selection so that, let's say Mackenzie and I are pairs and I'm going first. I pick a room, I make sure she knows she likes the building I'm choosing in, and I pick an empty room, and then she can put herself in the room next to me. So that's another way to do it.
Wonderful. A quick thing to add to that, I know that some people were concerned of like, well, what if like Karen picked a room and then somebody else took the empty spot before I was able to select? I believe until August 15th, we are allowed to switch that room selection. So I could go in, find an empty room, sign up for that, and then let Karen know, hey, I changed this room because there wasn't availability in that one. Here's where it is. And then you can kind of move around like that. Is that correct, Karen?
That is correct. You can move as many times as you want between the 15th of July and the 15th of August.
Perfect. Thank
And
you so
also,
much.
I might add, we will take wait lists too. So if someone didn't get together, or they wanted a triple room and they didn't get it, or a single, they can also send us an email. And if there's something we can do before we open, we try to do it.
Wonderful. Dong, where can we cook and what appliances are prohibited and which are not?
Yes, they differ a little bit by the community, but in general, all communities have access to a community kitchen or multiple community kitchens, so ovens, sinks, stoves, microwaves, things like that. So you should have access to that. Some communities have built-in kitchenettes, so like Buchanan Towers, Burnham Wood, which is more apartment style, will have a kitchen inside the apartment suite as well. But overall, you should have access to kitchenettes to bake, cook, use a microwave or whatnot. In terms of like appliances, probably the most common appliances I do see students having in their room is just a microwave for like popcorn or things like that, or reheating pizza. But overall, with the exception of like Burnham Wood, you generally have a meal plan, which comes with dining dollars and whatnot that you could also get with some food on campus. And sometimes you'll see mini fridges as well for like a pint of ice cream and things like that, like leftovers. So those are probably the most common appliances I see.
Thank you. Anya, this question is for you. What are payment options? And then after selection, how long do we have to get the first payment in?
That is a great question. Payments are typically due at the beginning of the school year, and the Student Business Office will start charging late fees on October 15th. So you would definitely want to get your payment in before then. Something that is relatively new is you can now get on a payment plan with the Student Business Office. So I will drop the link in the chat, but if you go to sbo.ww.edu, you can set up a payment plan. And how it works is, I believe it's a $30 or $35 fee to set it up, and you make 3 equal payments throughout the quarter. So the payment has to be made in full by the end of the quarter. And then I think for each quarter, you set up a new payment plan. And so, yeah, you just go there. So we're excited to have that. That's relatively new. So I will drop that in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Karen, we are back to you with this question. Through the housing portal, is the group leader responsible for room selection?
No, either person, any person in the group is able to put the group into the room and the beds. One thing I like to remind people to do is to remember to put everybody in a bed. When you're in there, it shows you the beds that are available, and sometimes people are like, great, that looks wonderful, and they forget to actually put their head in a bed. So anyone can do that, and also anyone can move you. So if you've gotten in a building and you've changed your mind and you want to move, then the other partner can do it for you. But make sure you talk to each other.
Yeah, thank you very much. Jeremy, this next question is over to you. Do the dining dollars you don't use carry over to the next quarter?
Yes, they do, between fall and winter and spring, and then they expire at the end of the spring. Your meals do not roll over, however, so you want to make sure you use those each quarter.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I know that I forgot that dining dollars existed until the beginning of spring quarter, and it turned into a habit of me leaving my room, which was in Fairhaven, and then working in Edens on the opposite side of campus, and just passing and buying a coffee every single day to try to get rid of those, because I knew they'd expire at the end of spring. So make sure you remember you have those and allot accordingly. Dong, this next question is for you. Are there curfews, and how does security work in our residence halls?
There are no curfews, so you can go out late and get your chicken McNuggets or whatnot. That's something that I did last night, but there are no curfews. Security, there are many layers of security. So several of the halls have several layers. So typically you do have access or some kind of mechanism that unlocks the main doors into your building. And then you also have your bedroom lock. So if you live in like a more traditional style hall like Mathis or Nash, you do have 2 keys, one into the main door and then one into your bedroom. If you live in some other halls that might have an apartment or suite style, then you might have 3 keys. So one into the building, one into the suite, and then one into your bedroom, so that your suite mates would not potentially have access to your bedroom either. In terms of security, we do sweep the buildings. We have staff that walk through the buildings, make sure doors are locked, windows are secure, things like that, multiple times a night. We do have public safety on campus that drive around the lots and the buildings, and they secure academic spaces and around campus. And so we're very fortunate that we do have university police and public safety designated and housed on our campus. And so you can contact them at any time as well for emergency or non-emergency. And then in addition, we really do try to be proactive. You are part of a community. It takes everybody to kind of work together to report things. And it could just be as simple as like, this latch on a window is broken, you should report that, or this lock isn't working the way it's supposed to. But we do, just like if you live off campus in an apartment complex, it does take everybody to kind of report things and work together to report anything that needs to be fixed or anything suspicious. So.
Thank you very much. Jeremy, this is for you. When does the cafeteria open?
Great. For early move-ins this year, the dining halls are going to be open for brunch and dinner starting on Thursday the 16th, and then starting with dinner on Sunday the 19th, we'll be back to regular hours. So there'll be brunch and dinner on the days that you move in each day.
Wonderful. Karen, this question is for you. How many singles are offered on campus? Also, how will we know our room selection time?
Sure. So we have about 150 designed single rooms, and we have this year about 50 what we call super single rooms, which are doubles that we have turned into singles to lessen occupancy a bit. So this year there's about 200 singles, which is a lot more than normal. And our new building, Clark Glass, has some of those cool singles in there. So, and there are still some available. So folks should look for those, and you can use that room selection tool and sort by singles, so you only see those first, and that can help that way. As far as a room selection time, our dashboard on the portal will tell you if you have a room selection time, and if you have a room selection time, you can also see room selection as one of your menu tab options on your portal. So you can click on it and go there, and it'll say, nope, it's not your time yet. But when it is your time, suddenly you can get in. And so you want to go to your dashboard, see what your time is so you know what it is. Use the room selection tutorial so you're kind of familiar with it, and you should be good to go.
Thank you. This next question is for Dong. If we're unable to get a WW parking pass, are there places off campus where we can park?
Yes, certainly parking related questions, the best people to ask is parking services. You can call or email. But yes, there are places to park off campus in the surrounding neighborhoods or streets. We do have a really good transit system too. So I really recommend you look up WTA. In a normal year, they travel like every 15 minutes all over campus into downtown, and the buses ride pretty late as well. So we do have a pretty good transit system, and your Western ID will allow you to use that transit system. So it's a pretty good for students to travel around campus. But otherwise, yes, there is some parking in the surrounding neighborhoods of campus.
Wonderful. Back to Anya for this one. If my student gets financial aid, which covers room and board, do I still have to pay additional fees for housing?
So typically with financial aid, when your financial aid funds apply to your account, they'll cover your room and board. And sometimes if we've billed your deposit, it will cover your deposit. there are some other housing fees. Let's say if you had a contract breakage fee, or you lost a key and we had to charge you for a room. Typically, financial aid won't automatically cover those. However, if you go to the Student Business Office website, the SBO website, there's a form that you can fill out. It's in the form section, and it's called Authorization to Apply Financial Aid Funds. If you fill that form out, then any charges that are on your student account, financial aid funds will cover. So what you don't want to happen is, let's say you get $5,000 in financial aid funds, you don't fill out this form, you know, it covers 3,000 of it. It gives you a refund of 2,000, but then there's other charges on there, and then you have to go back in and pay it. So I recommend for everyone that they go in and fill out that form.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Jeremy, this question is back to you. Is organic food served in the dining halls? Also, what are the hours for the dining halls?
Great. We try and serve as much organic and local foods as we can. Depends on what we can source throughout the year. Supply chains obviously are impacted right now, and I think that's something that people have seen everywhere. So products may change throughout the year. As far as hours go, I think we're almost done finalizing them, but they're not quite finished at this point. But they should be coming up pretty soon.
Thank you. Terrence, this question is for you. Do regular twin sheets fit the bed?
I think it's you need twin XL sheets.
Wonderful. I think that they are, I don't know the logistics of these, but I think I tried to use twin sheets and they did not cooperate very well. So twin extra large, especially in Bellingham, those sheets tend to be discoverable because of it being a predominantly like college town within downtown. So again, like Dong was saying earlier, accessibility to like malls and shops around, you can probably find those here. Also, the closer that we get, just from a student perspective, the closer we get to September, the more you're going to start seeing those sheets being offered in store. Otherwise, a lot of shops also have them online. Karen, this question is now for you. Can transfer students qualify for Birnham Wood as a non-first year?
Yes, they can. If you are not a freshman, you qualify for Birnham Wood. So it will also automatically let you pick it if you qualify for it. So when you are in room selection, picking your room, go ahead and put that in your search, and Birnham Wood will start showing up and you can see what's available.
Awesome, thank you so much. Anya, this question is for you. Can students pay their bill in person? Also, I'm gonna hold that middle question for just a second. Can students pay their bill in person? And is it different from the housing deposit?
Okay, great question. So I believe starting in early September, the Student Business Office doors should be open, and students will be allowed to go into the Student Business Office, pay by check, cash. There's always the option to pay online, but great news, I believe all the doors are unlocking September 7th is the last, subject to change, but that's the news today, is the doors will open on September 7th. And then, I'm sorry, what was the question on deposit?
Yeah, I think the question was, is the housing deposit different than the bill that you get at the start of the quarter?
Yes, so the housing deposit is one that has to be paid by, well, there's two different things. There's the traditional housing deposit that has to be paid by June 15th. If you requested a deposit deferral, what happens is that we bill your deposit and I believe this year we're going to be billing around mid-August. We'll bill your deposit at the same time we bill your room and board.
Wonderful. There was a middle question in that set of deposit questions that I held only because I don't think it has anything to do with housing business office. I think it's just our our My Housing portal that is being finicky. We've had some people send in messages saying that their deposit summary claims that their deposit isn't paid, even though they have a room selection time slot and they've paid that. Karen, do you have any information on that for us?
Yes, we were working on a new deposit function for our resident advisors, and it impacted for about a half a day what people were seeing when we were bringing it online. And so that should be resolved now, and our info desk knows to look. So if you're at all, if you see that message again, make sure you call us. You should not be seeing that anymore. And our apologies for having that be a little challenging there for about a half a day.
Wonderful. I wanted to make sure that we covered that separately because I'm like, I think that is outside of business office standings. Dong, this next question is for you. How do students get their keys?
Yeah, when you arrive for your designated check-in date and time, you will see a lot of signs and a lot of people walking around. And so if you can't find your building, ask anybody, and they should be able to point you to the right general vicinity. And then you'll see a lot of people that will point you to where to unload. And there should be a check-in station where you get your keys. There is one asterisk to that is, again, if you are participating in some type of early program, such as Viking Launch, you do want to pay attention to what that check-in process looks like. In general, it's going to be the same thing, but it might differ just a little bit, where it might be go to this place or this building to get your keys. But in general, majority of people just show up at your date and time for check-in, and then people will direct you to the check-in station.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Karen, this next question is for you. How fast do rooms fill up? Should I be concerned that I won't get the room that I want?
Sure. So the supply that we have should be sufficient for the demand, but let's say Mackenzie wants a single room in Nash and there are none when she looks there, but she wants Nash. I would tell a student to go ahead and pick in Nash, and then they can do the email request to us, which is, hey, if anything opens up before school starts, I would love to get into that. And we do that. We do a lot of that. One caveat to that is we don't keep the wait list from folks during the summer who didn't get quite what they want and they ask for something, because they can go in and keep looking themselves. But if after room selection closes, we can help, we do. And then when the year begins, what happens is most students who thought they might want a different building get in their building and they realize, no, this is an awesome building. I love it here. And they get to know people. And about one out of, if we have 50 left, maybe 3 or 4 folks want to still move after that. So after you move in, we wait a week, we let everybody get settled. And then if you do think, gosh, I really want to move to the South End or something for my classes, then you can put in a request through building staff. So you have 2 ways to do it. One is help yourself during room selection. 2 is after room selection, send us a request if there's anything that opens before we open. And then a week after we open and you've gotten settled, talk to your building staff and they'll tell you how to get on a wait list to move.
Wonderful. This next question is for Jeremy. Are there gluten-free and vegetarian options on campus?
Yes, we have made without gluten and vegetarian options throughout all of our dining halls. They're all identified with tags on the signs. And we also have made without gluten and vegetarian options throughout our retail operations.
Wonderful. Before we get to our next question, I will just let us know that we are around 5:45. We'll keep going for another 15 minutes or so. So if you have more questions, continue to let us know in the chat. And if your question doesn't get answered, you are able to contact our housing office and we'll help you out as much as possible or direct you to whoever can. So just a little reminder as we start to get 15 minutes out, so you don't worry, oh, my question hasn't been answered. We'll continue answering them up until 6. And then you can always contact us again or be here for one of our future webinars that we'll be holding. This next question is for Dong. What happens if altercations between roommates happen? Are we able to switch?
I apologize if my internet just became a little unstable, so hopefully everybody can hear me. That's a very good question. Safety is our priority. So if there is something like a threat to physical harm, then we will respond immediately. We do have some temporary spaces and we would work through that process. It is case by case. It also depends on what, in this case, like altercation may mean too. And I assume it's meaning physical altercation, but I also want to just cover like also just having roommate arguments. Sometimes people want to switch right away. And part of our process is to try to get people to learn how to have conflict with each other. So just because you get into a fight and you have an awkward silence in the room, we really want you to learn how to live and share a space together. And so sometimes we get students who are like, I'm in a really bad argument with my roommate, can I switch right away? And we want to make sure that like you might be in another similar situation if you switch rooms again. So trying to give you the tools to work out conflict is something we really want people to learn and understand as well. But if your safety is a concern, that is a priority for us. We will take immediate action.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. It looks like this next question is for Terrence, but we may have lost Terrence. If Terrence can say something if he is here. If not, we can always switch to another question and come back to that soon. It looks like this question, Dong, you should also be able to answer. Can students keep bikes in the residence hall?
You can. Sometimes the space is a little bit smaller, so that's one of those things you definitely want to talk to with your roommate, but every community does have bike storage. Some of the communities, I would say a fair amount, maybe half, I'm going off of memory here, so don't quote me on that, do have some limited indoor locked bike storage as well, but every community has bike racks for you to store your bikes. But yes, some people do put it in their room. That's just something you do want to talk to with your roommate, make sure that you do have enough space and you're both okay with it.
Awesome. Jeremy, this next question is for you. How long does a meal plan last? Is it by semester, by quarters? And do you have to stretch your meal plan before it's renewed?
Meal plans are per quarter, the way they're billed. You can always change quarter to quarter. So that you know that if you have a 125 meal plan, that's for fall quarter, then you have 125 meals in fall quarter. You want to kind of budget out, okay, it's about roughly 2 meals a day. So that's what you want to work with. If you choose unlimited, you don't have to worry about that. If you're someone that goes home a lot on the weekends, you want to adjust for that as well. If you want to call it stretching, you can call it stretching, but you want to kind of budget out how much you think you'll need and then purchase the meal plan that you think is going to be the best fit.
Wonderful, thank you. Anya, this next question is for you. After we move in, can we stay on campus or do we have to go home? I don't know if this is referring to like breaks or, yeah, that's the question.
If you pick the first day to move in, September 16th, you can absolutely stay. Once we give you the keys to your room, it's yours until you check out. If you want to stay over break periods, you can stay, Christmas, Thanksgiving, spring break. We don't make you go home. We don't check to see who's living with us. There's no dining during the break periods, but you're welcome to stay in your room.
Wonderful. Dong, this next question is for you. Will we be required to wear masks in residence halls, even if we are all vaccinated?
Yes, this is one of those where someone can also chime in if I'm giving the wrong information. I can talk to the current policy, which is yes, common spaces as you enter the building, you should be masked up, guests as well. So move-in day, at least last year, people were masked up. So as of this time, even if you're vaccinated, people are still masked up. Someone can correct me if that's not accurate, but so as of this time, yes, people are still masking up in common spaces like laundry rooms, hallways, things like that.
Thank you. Let's see, what is our next question? As my system loads, here we go. Jeremy, this question is for you. Are there markings for common allergens in the dining areas? And are there low carb and keto options available?
There are markings for the 8 common allergens across the main entrees and desserts. As far as low carb and keto options, that's going to be how you want to navigate the dining hall and how you want to choose to eat. So it's not a when you come in and here's what you're going to eat. There's all the different options to go around and explore what's going to fit your diet the best. If you're finding that you have a really specialized diet or you want help with that, we have a dietitian available, and also you can reach out to our executive chef. They'll be happy to meet with you and work through that with you.
Thank you. Anya, this next question is for you. Are single rooms more expensive than doubles or triples?
Yes, so single rooms are definitely more expensive. However, if you have a medical accommodation, that's been, you would be charged the double room rate, but that would be approved in advance. We have 3 tiers of room types. We have a value tier, which is our cheaper rooms, hall style rooms. We have a standard tier, which is our suite rooms, and we have a premium tier, which is our suite rooms with kitchens. And so in all of those options, you also have the single, double, triple options. So there's many different options to choose from, and you can find all that information on the website.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Jeremy, back to you. Can you explain what dining dollars are?
Yeah, so every meal plan comes with dining dollars. I believe it's 230 this year. You get the same amount each quarter, and that's what you can use to spend across all the retail locations on campus. Or if you choose a block plan and you happen to run out of meals, you can also use that in the dining hall. Viking dollars are separate. That's something that you can purchase, or your parents can purchase for you, or someone can add on for you, and you can use those across anywhere on campus, and those don't expire. The dining dollars roll over quarter to quarter until the end of spring, and then they expire at that point.
Awesome. Thank you. Dong, this question is for you. How does living on campus help and support students?
It does so much. First and foremost, you have a community of peers that are taking classes with you, that you get to meet. You meet your lifelong friends. That alone is priceless. But also, it's very rare at any given point in your entire life that you are around this many resources that is all encompassing. You can go to counseling as much as you want. You can go to the health center as much as you want. You can go to tutoring, academic advice, nutritionists, like just the number of resources is just incredible. And it's all within walking distance. And so that in itself is incredible. Otherwise, I would definitely say it's life skills. It's learning how to cook. It's learning how to moderate your habits, how to go to bed, how to eat vegetables, simple things like that. But most importantly, it's learning how to live with others. A lot of people think they're, again, going back to that conflict piece, think they're really good at managing conflict, but conflict's different for all types of different relationships and friendships that you have. And it's learning how to share. It's learning how to talk with each other and be okay with that and not to shy away from that. Those life skills are, those are things that you'll bump into naturally. But just, I would say in general, this is part of your home. Learning, meeting your best friend, falling in love, breaking up. Those are all things you might experience and learn and grow from as a part of living on campus and being in college.
Yeah, thank you so much. I definitely can't imagine going through your first year potentially away from home or at a new school generally, and then also trying to deal with like a rental company or a landlord and dealing with all of those little things without that, like with a lot less of that social support. So I can definitely attest to that from my own experience. Anya, this next question is for you. Do we have to pay to use the residence hall washing machines and dryers?
No, that is free. You don't need to bring a stack of quarters with you when you come. You will need to provide your own laundry soap and dryer sheets if you need them, but laundry is included.
Wonderful. We have just a few questions and just a few minutes left. So just one more quick reminder of if any of the questions that you have didn't get answered, we are all available to help you out. Karen, this next question is for you. Do rooms have wired internet access or just Wi-Fi?
Rooms have one wired internet, and you can get a splitter for it if you want. So, and sometimes no one's using it, but yes, they do.
Thank you. Dawn, back to you. Who is allowed to help students move in?
Yeah, so I would, again, one of those things, make sure that you're just checking all the move-in information as well. But there should be no restrictions with move-in guests at all. And so the only thing I would say is like what I commonly see, families helping friends, helping people move in. So a car or two. I probably would reconsider if you think you're like have a giant U-Haul coming in, that probably would be something I would reconsider, but probably a car or two is a very common thing to see. So like a car of stuff, and then maybe like family members traveling in a separate car is what I would commonly see. So.
Wonderful. Karen, this question is for you. Where can students find dimensions and pictures of rooms, or how do we see the space?
Yeah, a lot of folks want so much to see in their rooms, and even on a non-COVID summer, we're usually with conferences and renovations, rooms are not available to see. So you can go to our Explore the Buildings website, and it's a good estimation of what a room is like. And you can kind of see the shape of your room, but every room is just a little different, and there are, 2,000 rooms. And so we don't want you to like measure and bring an exact fitting couch and then get there and find out, oh my gosh, we're 6 inches too big. So really general size things you bring. And then for anything where maybe you want to have a rug that fits or something like that, see your room and then just grab those items when you're here. It's there, as Dawn mentioned, there's every kind of, there's a Costco and a Fred Meyer, and all the big stores are available, Bed Bath & Beyond. And so you can go and pick up the extras you need nearby that need that sort of extra special touch of measuring.
Wonderful. And we are at 5:58, so this is going to be our last question of the evening. You're more than welcome to watch this in the future or contact us just by contacting the Housing Front Desk, and we'll help you out if you have anything else. But Dawn, for our last question, what is the best thing to do during the first week of move-in on campus to meet people?
What a great question. And me as a student as well, or when I was a student here, hear me out. You should do as many things as you can. There's so many events, so many clubs, everybody's trying to meet everybody. I get that a lot of times like you want to, get to know your roommate. You have plenty of time to get to know your roommate. You have a whole year to get to know your roommate. The first week, everybody's trying to meet every single person. Everybody is like trying to meet you. Go to all the things, even like the cheesy things, like you're like making cookie decorating. Go meet people. I promise you, it will pay off. Get involved. Don't be too cool for those things. You will meet so many new faces because everybody's trying to meet people and build a community. And the longer you wait, you're gonna, have to be intentional about going to those programs and meeting people, but more people start making friends and groups and things. And so the first week or two, check out all the programs, go to all the things. Welcome Week has so many events like Convocation, the Info Fair, go to everything, go across campus, explore, meet a ton of people. I cannot stress that enough. And the people in your building and your roommate, you will live with them the whole year. You will see them again. You'll see them in the dining hall. You will see them nonstop. And so you'll get to know them over time, but meet everybody. Just go out there and explore.
Absolutely. It took me 2.5 days to finally go to the Info Fair, and I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't gone to that Info Fair. I met the people that I'm currently living with and have been for the past 2 years because of that Info Fair. We look forward to having you all on campus with us, and thank you for all joining us this evening. If you have further questions, please reach out to us. We are answering our phones Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and we're here to help you out as much as possible. So thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope you have a good rest of your night.
See everybody this fall.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.